Hi, Sven from Webiny here. I want to do a quick demo of our file manager so you get a sense of the options and possibilities we have within this application. To access the file manager, so I'm now in the admin dashboard inside Webiny, and I'm going to open the main menu, and under the main menu you'll find the file manager in the lower part. If I click on it, you'll see the file manager appears as an overlay. There's a specific reason for that, and that is because the file manager is used inside many other Webiny applications where you need to pick an image or a file and so on. So oftentimes the file manager shows up on top of those existing applications. Let's now talk about how files are organized. So if I go to the home folder here. So first of all, the file manager uses a folder-based structure to organize your files. That means you can have folders and subfolders onto many levels as you need in order to organize your content in an efficient way. Now, here in this example, we have two folders, activities and cities. And if I click on one of those, you'll see that I got a few subfolders inside them. And let's pick one, for example, land, and here I will see my files. In this case, I do have only images, but the file manager can store any type of content you would need. The content itself, by default, is presented as a grid view. The benefit of a grid view is, especially when you work with images, because you have this preview of the image itself. If you prefer a different view, we also offer the table layout view, which gives you a bit more detail. And if you don't work with images, the table layout is useful because it fits more content on the screen. But of course, you use the preview. All right, let's go back to the grid view. And to upload your content, you can just drag and drop the content directly into File Manager, or you can use the upload button, whatever you feel like is easier for you. And in this case, let's just add, let's say, these three images to the current folder. When you start the upload, you'll have a progress bar, and when that progress bar finishes, then all of your files are done uploading. When it comes to uploading images, the process has a second step, which is when an image is uploaded, we immediately create a few renditions of that image in smaller sizes, just so we're efficient with your bandwidth and with the user performance as when they load a lot of images inside the file manager. So let's just wait a few seconds and this process will now complete. Alright, so the upload has finished and we see our images in the folder where we wanted to upload the files. Now, every file has a few main attributes. These are the type of the file, the title, and when it was uploaded. If we hover over a file, we'll have the option to download the original file, move the file into a different folder, as well as to open the additional detail drawer, which allows us to amend the file, some of its attributes, and so on. So let's have a look at that. Once we're in the file detail drawer, we can see a larger preview of our image, which is handy, especially in case of images, but we also have a few additional options here on the top. So before we had just the download and move to a folder, but here we also have the ability to copy the URL to the original asset. In case of an image, we're also able to edit that image. If I click this, it's going to show up our image editor where we can crop, flip, rotate, and apply some filters to the asset itself. And we can delete that asset. This bottom section shows us the type of the file, the size, and when it was uploaded. Right. Now, on the right-hand side here, we have the main attributes of a file. Those are the name, a few tags, and aliases. If needed, we can change the file name. The file name affects the path under which the asset is delivered. As well as we can apply tags. We got few predefined tags. We can also create new tags. This lower section that says file aliases is also an interesting one. In case, say, we have an asset that is accessible via this path, but we want to also serve that asset under a few other paths. We can add multiple aliases to that. So this same asset will now be served under this path, and this path. A typical use case is for somebody that is migrating content of another system into Webiny, but they want to keep the assets unchanged, the path to those assets. For that, you can use the file aliases, right? Instead of creating some specific CDN rules or uploading the same asset under multiple names and so on. Now you can notice here I have basic details and advanced details. These are two tabs. Now, by default, you won't see these two tabs. You'll just have the basic details with these information. The advanced details only shows up when you activate a specific plugin. And remember, Webiny is a fully customizable open source product, right? So we allow people to adjust Webiny and customize it to their own needs. And a typical use case was that our users wanted to add more attributes to files besides just having these few, right? Because they had to describe those assets, those files with more data. So through a specific plugin, developers are able to extend the file schema and introduce new attributes to the schema, just by simply defining what attribute and what input type that attribute should be using to render itself. The system then takes that definition and actually expands the API schema of the file. And when you write that additional information to the file, it also gets indexed and stored for effective search. In this case, I've just got, for whatever reason, car make and a Euro manufacturer. You can see here this one's rendered as input and this one's as a number input, this one's rendered as a text input. This is a basic example, but you can also have drop downs, checkboxes, radio buttons, autocomplete, whatever is needed here, right? But the cool thing is that you as a developer just need to define what those additional attributes are, and Webiny takes care of the whole API side for you, and using those custom attributes, you're able to then sort, filter, and search your content on the API side automatically. Now that we saved this file, let's talk about how do we search and filter content in the file manager. So we have a couple of options to do that. First of all, we have this search bar, which is where you type in a keyword. And we use that keyword to search. But notice one thing, it says search files in a land. This is the current folder that I'm navigated into, right? If I move to home, which is a special root type of a folder, it says search all files. So where I am in the sidebar defines the scope of my search, right? If I'm in the root, I search across all folders and subfolders. But if I'm inside an existing folder, I only scope the search to that folder. This allows you to kind of narrow down the search results and get more specific results to what you're looking for, right? The other bit besides the search is we have filters, and you can show and hide them using this button. By default, you'll only have a filter by type. But the important thing here is that you're able to add as many filters, custom filters, as you want through our plugin system. And this is where, again, File Manager shines if you take into account that you added a lot of custom metadata to the file, and now you want to search and filter through that. So we provide both the plugins to expand your schema with custom metadata, and then also introduce filters to the UI so people are able to filter and search in the UI using those custom attributes. And finally, the other bit to mention how you can search and filter files is using tags. Here we got a couple of tags, and because I'm in the home folder, any tag I apply searches through all folders and subfolders. But if I go inside a specific folder, then I only search within that folder. And here you can see, hey, I'm searching for landscape and sport and match any, right? But if I want to search for files that have both tags applied, only both, right? Then I can switch this search filter to match all, right? Go back to home, and if I again apply to these, you'll see that I now have more results. All right, so this was a quick overview of the file manager. There's a lot of options that I haven't yet talked about. For example, the file manager is architected in a way that you can upload assets, even single assets of sizes up to 5 terabytes. We support multi-part byte upload, allowing you to have multiple parallel streams of uploading content, which is very efficient when you have very large content. There's practically no limits to how many files you can have inside the file manager, scaling to petabytes and petabytes of content, right? And the way we deliver those files and cache those files is also done in a very effective and cost-efficient manner, right? But if you want to know more about that, you're welcome to reach out to myself or to the team, and we're more than happy to guide you through a deep dive of our file manager. But I hope overall this video was useful for you, and that you found the information you were looking about the file manager. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.